Hello viewers and welcome to Men of War Assault Squad 2. I'm your host PPG2 and today we're starting the first ever multiplayer commentary for this game. This will probably be released at the same time as Wargame Red Dragon as well. So we're playing a 2v2, we're playing as the Soviet Union going up against the Americans. This will actually be on a classic map, the tram station map for the game actually, so we'll really see how this goes on a very old, very classic map. And with that sort of said, the game begins, we're going to deploy, and we will see what we can do here and what points that we can get to. So, I think I'll get one of our riflemen to, actually it looks like, I see the point is over here. So we're playing on the Assault Zones map, we're playing on the Assault Zones game mode, meaning that our objective is to ultimately take these victory points on the map and to cap enough of them to eventually win the game is what it effectively comes down into. So we'll get our guys on the ground and on prone, and it looks like a small skirmish is developing over here, and I'll buy a bike to support us up here. Historically, I mean, with the Men of War this line of games, I usually like to go with a half-track starting game selection build of sorts. Not necessarily build, but just general order, really. The problem right now is that since the game has just come out, I mean, not a lot of the things that I used to use are available just yet. Mainly the half-track timing has been changed by a little bit, and I don't necessarily want to mess around with it all too much, so I'm just going to deploy my troops and really just see how this goes. This will be my second game inside the new Men of War title. So I mean, this is really just a test run of sorts. I'm gonna get our guys to build a few sandbag walls, and we are gonna take control of this point right here, and we are going to lock it down. My ally is over here, and he appears to be taking that point, and he's doing an average job at doing that. So we'll let him continue. In the meantime, I'm going to try to entrench upon this location, build a few more sandbags and get our guys to mount down on that. Namely, I'm going to actually strip down the MG off of this particular bike so we can get another one over there, and we'll set that up nicely. In the meantime, we can help out our buddy here, and we can try to take the middle of the map too. So I'm going to get some infantrymen to do that. Doesn't look like anybody's taken the middle of the map here, so this might be fairly easy if our guys can just run right in here and cap that off. Hopefully he can. There we go. So we're going to try to get the middle of the map here too. With that said, I hope to be able to bring a few more guys through this little alleyway and into that location. I see that they are stacking quite a few more troops here and there. I'm gonna get the guy with the big machine gun that we pulled off of the truck over here. And this guy will just absolutely be able to eradicate all of the people here, which is going to be rather handy. So, how we accumulate victory points inside this game mode is that you have to have more of these zones effectively locked down than your opponent, and as soon as you do that, you start to then accumulate victory points, and you accumulate them based on how many of these zones you control. So currently we control 3 zones. In a few seconds that should be 4. I'm going to buy an armored vehicle and help my buddy out. It looks like there's going to be quite a large infantry fight over here, and with that said, a nice little light tank like a T-70 here is perfect for support in this particular area. So we'll drive this over here and we'll try to put a few shots onto this building. Yeah, unfortunately I don't think the buildings on this particular map are destructible, so that'll make things a little more difficult. But I'll try to get it so that we can pop a few shots actually into the building itself. Alright, that might be a little problem, and I see that my opponent has bought some sort of vehicle, perhaps an anti-tank gun, so I'm actually going to hide behind this building wreck. And the neat thing about this game is that they've included some more varied vehicles into the game now. Some varied hero units, my apologies. Namely, you have the full entire list here, and some of these are of course repeats from the first game, but they've included a fair amount of differentiated ones. Namely, you have the option of buying this shock infantry group, and this shock infantry group is it's actually a group of it's a flamethrower armed group. I want to deal with this tank first, but I'll show you guys that in a little bit. And you have this guy, this sole flamethrower armed person, and we can actually use him to burn out all of the enemy troops over here, making him really rather useful. So we're actually going to send him right now, take direct control of him, and we are just going to lay on the flames, really. These guys are fairly heavily armed. They can soak up quite a bit of damage. So, you know, it's release day. I kind of expect that the players here and now are going to be varied in their play skills. So, you know, there might be a few guys who aren't that great. I'm gonna crush my my allies' machine gun and just drive right up here, really. Whatever works. That'll keep them at bay. And so yeah, that is pretty much Men of War Assault Squad 2. The game really just continues from here. It looks like they're going to buy some sort of little Max and AA gun over there. And that is a decently powerful unit. Puts down a lot of pressure, though it can't necessarily do much more than that. What I'm going to do here is that I'm going to buy a half-track, and I'm actually going to try to steal the enemy's little howitzer there that so happens to be just pounding my my guys. And what we can do with these half-tracks, and I'll show you guys why I think these half-tracks are pretty damn powerful units, is that you can use them to, namely, oh, if I do this right, to just crush these guns. You can just use them to crush these little AT gun emplacements and things like that. So they're really rather useful in that. They're fairly cheap too at 150 whatever units, whatever currency that the game uses, pesos, whatever. So they're also cheap. They're effective, making them really rather nice. My opponent has bought a light little chaffy tank. That is no threat to us because we can do something to resolve that issue. I'm going to save up for a T-34 tank. Currently I have 360 MP and it'll cost me right around 100 or 400 some. So it'll be a little bit, but we should be able to afford it in a little while and take them out. In the meantime, I'll get my MG gunner to reload. Hopefully take care of these guys, if not run away. He doesn't have any more medkits, so unfortunately I can't heal him. And it looks like my teammate has rebounded and he's going to help us out. He's going to bring some troops over here to support us. How are we doing over here? We're doing fine. Alright, well in that case, bring out the T-34. Those Chaffies are pretty weak tanks, so I'm going to move it forward. And this T-34 is just going to annihilate that Chaffee. So we're going to come into range here, slide nicely, one-shot it down, and that's going to take it out just like that. And I'm going to move the tank into the little valley, or this little area over here that they seem to be pushing up in. And again, a lot of the buildings inside the game, not all of them, but a lot of them are destructible, so you'll see quite a lot of things being crushed as the game sort of goes on. And that takes out that Max and AA gun just like that, very, very nicely. So far, I mean, we have a little bit of time to talk about the gameplay mechanics now, I suppose. And so far, what I've found is that in relation to the first game, what the developers of this game did, Digital Mindsoft, is that they've put down quite a lot of cooldowns on some of the power play units, as I like to call them, inside the first game. Inside the first game, eventually the metagame sort of developed into this MG machine gun showdown, where a lot of the game was just really down to flak cannons and machine gun type of units, making the game really rather, I wouldn't necessarily say less fun. The Men of War series of games have always been pretty fun, but I didn't necessarily, but I don't What am I trying to say here? Lost my words when I'm commanding these people. It wasn't necessarily not fun. It just was kind of boring after a while. And with that sort of said, this game really alleviates that problem because it changes up the meta by quite a bit through the new inclusion of those cooldowns and all that stuff. Now, right now, I see my enemies trying to rush us up with a tank. I remember these guards, infantry, coming with a, not necessarily a bazooka, but an anti-tank rifle, and I saw it just now. Can't seem to find it again. So I'm gonna get our tank to back up and take a shot at it. A great nade throw right there. Yeah, the AI hasn't been improved. Oh, and it looks like that is game. So, a fairly short early match. I mean, this game was only up until 70 points. They are usually up until 100. I'll see you guys next time where we take a look at another match of Men of War Assault Squad 2.